Welcome to this video about a big red with splash of black deck that I'm going to be playing tomorrow in the Mythic qualifier. So I got to top 1200 Mythic playing Indomitable Creativity, but the deck was kind of falling off for me, either just a combination of bad luck, people getting a little bit better about playing against it, whatever, but it wasn't winning as much, and so I was looking for something else to play. And this deck, the core of it, I found from Jeff Hoogland's website. I think he played something like this. It's on his website from like a year ago, and I took the skeleton of that deck and just did a few minor updates. I've been playing it, and it has a good matchup against the core deck of the format, I think, which is the Rakdos Sacrifice deck, and it does pretty well against a lot of other things because I think it has a pretty strong proactive game plan. So I'm just going to take like 2 minutes to run through what the deck list is and what the strategy is trying to do, play a few matches, and then hopefully someone will enjoy this. If you're liking the content on my YouTube, please do like and subscribe, because then I know what sort of things I should be doing more of. So, okay, here's the deck. It's basically all red with a splash of black, black coming in for Thoughtseize and some Heartless Act removal, just so that the deck doesn't totally fold to Phyrexian Obliterator. Otherwise it could be almost entirely red, but Thoughtseize is just so powerful in this format, and the splash is basically free. You're just giving up the ability to play Faceless Haven, which, while I tried the snow version of this deck, I was finding that Thoughtseize is winning more games than that was. So the ideal curve out for this deck, I mean, maybe you have a Thoughtseize on 1, maybe not, but the idea is to drop a mana rock on turn 2 and then jump immediately up to 4 on the curve, where we've got Rekindling Phoenix and Chandra as really good 4-mana plays. If we can put them down on turn 3, those can just be a big tempo swing that's hard for an opponent to recover from. And then just kind of leading off on some other pretty strong threats. Glorybringer is really, really good in creature matchups. And then we've got Varix, because if you play a Chandra and then hit a land drop, you can do Varix with Kicker for 7 mana and make 8 power, sometimes as early as turn 4, which is just really, really strong. And then there's the removal suite. Abrade is looking really good right now because there's just a lot of incidental artifacts that you want to hit, and Bone Crusher Giant is just a really good card. From a meta perspective, the way I like this deck is because most of the threats, all of them except for Bone Crusher Giant, have mana value greater than 3, and there's a lot of removal people are playing that hit stuff with 3 or less because Collected Company is such a big factor in the format. So going just a little bit above that and then trying to ramp into it is leaving a lot of people with dead removal. And then for 2, there's a lot of decks that are really good at gumming up the ground game with cats and ovens and tokens and whatnot, and basically all the threats in here have flying, so it's really hard for most opponents to block them. Any deck other than Angels basically will not have any significant amount of flying creatures. And then finally, this is kind of the tech that I added to this, which is a couple of Banefires. A lot of decks are not playing very much Reach, I'm noticing, because the burn in the format just isn't all that great. But because we have quite a bit of mana generation ability between the Mana Rocks, Chandra, maybe some treasures off of Goldspan Dragon, even though there's only a 1-of, Banefire can close out games in a pretty convincing way. Then in the sideboard, there's a couple of different packages, I guess you could call it. Grafdigger's Cage comes in pretty often. When that comes in, Rekindling Phoenix usually comes out. That's the only thing that Grafdigger's Cage really interferes with on our side. Then we've got a couple of other big threats. Skyship Stalker usually comes in when the Phoenix comes out. And this is, I think, an underrated card, but a dragon that can pump and gain first strike is just an absolute nightmare to deal with in combat, and there are some decks that have a hard time dealing with that. Then just a variety of sweepers with Cinderclasm, Sweltering Sun's Extinction Event to try and handle the decks that are faster than us, and then a couple of threats to go a little bit bigger against control. So that's the deck. Gonna play a few matches. Let's see how it goes. Okay, this is a really good hand. As long as I can draw a 3rd land, it's fantastic. Don't know what we're playing against, but with the exception of something really, really fast, this hand should be excellent. So we'll just lead off on Thoughtseize, see what we're up against. Okay, so it's Colorless Ramp. So we can either either target their ramp spells or target their payoffs. And I think the payoffs are the way to go because we're not going to be able to hit a significant number of the ramp spells. So let's get rid of Karn, also because that makes my mana rocks pretty useless. Alright, there's our next land, which is very handy. The question is, next turn, do we jam a Chandra or do we put down a Rekindling Phoenix? And I think Chandra is probably the play because that'll let us ramp our mana even more effectively. And the opponent's probably going to play Golos next turn.
When people start screaming, this will be easy.
And yeah, I'll just have a bunch of mana to work with next turn. And that's pretty unfortunate. That makes my mana rocks a bit less effective. That makes my Chandra a bit less effective. So we've gone from being in a really good spot to a really bad spot. I could Bone Crusher that in order to stop him from getting a second card. That might be the play, even though I would like to be curving out with the Rekindling Phoenix. I think I just need to hope that my opponent is drawing dead for a few turns.
Some solutions must
That's
be built.
not very helpful. I guess I'll play the Phoenix.
Awaken.
And I don't think there's any chance of winning this. So I'm trimming back the removal a little bit and bringing in a little bit more diverse threats. I almost want to trim down one Chandra just because drawing multiples of those when they've been mooted out is pretty painful. But I don't think any of those other cards are really better. Bone Crusher Giant, while it's a great card, I don't think it really hits anything in this matchup. Okay, this hand has some disruption, got some artifact removal. These seem like the things that I want in order to have a better chance this game. Okay, so that hand is just stacked with threats, but it's pretty light on mana, so I think that's where we want to target. Or I guess I can... He's probably going to Thoughtseize me next turn, so it's not really for sure that I'll still have my Abrade. I guess I'll take the Cold Steel Heart and just hope that our opponent gets totally mana screwed. Well, I'm just gonna continue with the same plan of action that I had before, which is to deny him meaningful place. So there goes my only threat. And I think I'll be cracking this Mind Stone pretty quick just to hopefully find something I can play. Alright, this gets me onto the board. And leaves me enough mana for an Abrade on something. And that is a something. Yeah, and I think this is the plan to deny mana. And yep, opponent has had it. So I think that sideboard plan is fine. Maybe I don't want Chandra. Maybe I'd rather have a Heartless Act to kill Golos. Similarly, maybe I don't want an Angrith that much. But yeah, let's just leave it like that. Chandra, big Chandra is probably too slow for the matchup. Okay, I've got a nice disruptive hand with some threats. This looks good. And a mana rock is about the best possible draw that I could have had right there. Let's see, so my next turn I want to be playing a mana rock. I think I'll take the Guardian Idol, just to interfere with their curve. I could jam another Thoughtseize here, but I think it's more important to get something on the board. And our opponent is looking kind of mana hosed now. Okay, here I think I just want to mess with them, because when you see blood in the water, I don't think I care if I get Thoughtseize, because I've got pretty good redundancy in my hand. But I think if I can just keep him off of his mana. Yeah, next turn, I mean, maybe I get Thoughtseized and I lose a dragon, but whatever. I need to draw into a land so I can play the Glorybringer, assuming they take the Skyship Stalker, but our opponent is just desperate to get something on the board. And oh, no black mana, I wasn't even paying enough attention to that. There's an argument to be made for going after the Mind Stone again. Because if he draws a black source and has an extinction event as that last card, he can do some removal on me, but I think the faster clock is the better play here. Next match. This hand is a little slow. It's probably black-white auras, Seems like when most of these decks are, and I think this is a good hand against that deck. Yep, definitely black-white auras. So I think getting off the Thoughtseize on turn 1 is important. Maybe I can pick off their payoff creature. And that's a yes. If I had a little bit faster threat to capitalize on that, it would be even better. But our opponent is not doing a whole lot. So here I think the play is Chandra. And I'll use the mana to put down a Mind Stone.
Today's my lucky day.
That sets me up with a lot of plays to make next turn. And this Luris Kaya's Ghost Form thing is maybe the most annoying thing to play against in the entire world. I think I'll Chandra then Glorybringer it.
Oh, yep, you're flammable.
Yeah, really nothing more annoying than Luris, who keeps constantly coming back and recasting Ghost Form on himself. I hate that. And this qualifies in the A for effort category, but I don't think it's going to go well for them. So I think what I want to do is play Rekindling Phoenix and Banefire, the Selfless Savior. Then again, maybe I don't even care about the Selfless Savior. I mean, if he plays a Hateful
Yep.
Eidolon,
You're going
well,
down.
that was better than any other play I was going to make. Yeah, and opponent has seen enough. Okay, this is where Extinction Event is really, really good, because most of their meaningful threats are even. I don't think I want Duress, because all their enchantments are pretty interchangeable. Chandra Awakened Inferno, I think, is a little bit on the slow side. Angrath is good because it can pick off their stuff no matter how many enchantments are on it. And we need to take out one other card. I think a Braid is one of our worst removal spells. Maybe I'll take out Banefire, because I don't think that having a closer is really what this matchup comes down to. Alright, this hand is pretty good. I've got some removal, I've got a meaningful threat, and against the Black-White Auras deck, I feel like it's pretty much always better to keep as many cards as possible because they do play a lot of hand disruption. That's kind of an interesting choice. I could play my Mind Stone here, but I think the better play is to leave up some Bone Crusher mana and just pick off one of their creatures. Like that one, for instance. I think I'll kill the Hateful Idol on, because this sets me up for a really nasty extinction event next turn. Although there's a case to be made for killing Saram here, so I could go Mind Stone, Bone Crusher Giant, kill Saram. I think that's probably the play, because that I just don't want him to get the engine going. And this also advances my mana. I think this is the extinction event turn. And Hushbringer seems like a misunderstanding by our opponent, because that's really not a useful card in this list.
You're just fuel for your crew for my freedom. A fair price. No fire, no steel. No fire, no steel.
Here we're taking the risk that Angrath gets killed, but I don't think it has that much utility left anyway when they're empty-handed.
Hard a larboard. The other larboard, fool!
And yeah, it's time for tears, opponent.
No fire, no steel.
Good game.
you got? Today's my lucky day. I'm Chandra, the immolation sensei. Everyone knows the bigger explosions are more fun.
Here be monsters. Your crew for my freedom? A fair price.
gonna hurt. Yup, you're going down. You wanna go, tough guy? Oh, now you're asking for it. Oh, this is gonna hurt. Well, that was a disaster. You wanna play with fire, huh? You're going down. This'll be easy. Today's my lucky day. Let's light it up! time. burnt hair smell? Yup, you're going down. Oh, this is gonna hurt.